Airbnb offers a world of unique accommodations and experiences, but sometimes these experiences can take a dark turn. One such tale is that of Guests from the Grave, a true Airbnb horror story that will send shivers down your spine. It all began when Emily, a young traveler, decided to spend a weekend in a quaint little town known for its historical charm. She found a beautiful old house on Airbnb, hosted by an elderly couple, Mr. and Mrs. Green. The house had excellent reviews, with many guests praising its antique decor and the hospitality of the Greens. Emily arrived late on a Friday evening. As she pulled into the driveway, she noticed how eerily quiet the neighborhood was. The house itself stood tall, with ivy crawling up its stone walls, giving it a timeless, almost haunted look. Mr. Green greeted her at the door, a kind smile on his face, and helped her with her luggage. The inside of the house was just as enchanting as the photos had shown. Antique furniture filled the rooms, and family portraits adorned the walls. Mrs. Green offered Emily some tea and biscuits, making her feel right at home. The couple chatted with Emily about the history of the house, which had been in their family for generations. As the night wore on, Emily retired to her room. It was a cozy space with a four-poster bed and a large window overlooking the garden. Exhausted from her journey, she quickly fell asleep. However, her rest was soon disturbed by strange noises. She heard faint whispers and the sound of footsteps in the hallway. Assuming it was the creaky old house settling, she tried to ignore it and drifted back to sleep. The next morning, Emily joined the Greens for breakfast. She mentioned the noises she had heard, but they simply smiled and told her it was probably the wind. They suggested she visit the local museum and explore the town's history, which she eagerly agreed to. The day was delightful, and Emily enjoyed learning about the town's past. She returned to the house in the evening, tired but happy. As she prepared for bed, she couldn't shake off the feeling that something was off. The house seemed colder, and the atmosphere heavier. That night, the noises were louder. Emily heard what sounded like a conversation right outside her door. Summoning her courage, she opened the door, but the hallway was empty. Her heart pounded as she shut the door and locked it. Sleep didn't come easily, and when it did, she was plagued by unsettling dreams of shadowy figures and ghostly faces. The following day, Emily decided to cut her trip short. She felt an overwhelming sense of dread and couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. She informed the Greens of her early departure, and they seemed understanding, though a bit disappointed. As she packed, Emily noticed an old photograph on the dresser that she hadn't seen before. It was a picture of the Greens standing in front of the house, looking much younger. What caught her eye, though, was the date on the photo, 1952. Confused, she quickly finished packing and left the house. Once she was back home, Emily couldn't stop thinking about the strange events. She decided to do some research on the house and the Greens. What she found chilled her to the bone. According to local records, Mr. and Mrs. Green had died in a tragic accident in 1960. The house had been vacant for years, maintained by distant relatives who lived out of town. Shocked and horrified, Emily reached out to Airbnb to report her experience. She described the couple, the noises, and the photograph. Airbnb investigated and confirmed that no active hosts by the name of Green were listed for that property. The house was indeed unoccupied and had been listed by mistake due to an administrative error. Emily's story spread quickly, and others came forward with similar tales. Visitors had reported seeing the Greens, hearing whispers, and feeling an eerie presence. It seemed that the spirits of Mr. and Mrs. Green were still very much attached to their beloved home, welcoming guests as they had in life. This haunting experience left Emily and many others questioning the boundaries between the living and the dead. It serves as a reminder that sometimes the most picturesque places can harbor the darkest secrets.